Welcome to episode 27 of the Hotfix podcast, and today we're talking about what really matters in gaming. We're not talking about ray tracing, because no one gives a shit about that. We're not talking about good graphics. We're talking about fun-ass games.
Hell yeah, dude. We're going to talk about why Fall Guys and Among Us have basically dominated the last 6 months of gaming, content creation, Twitch, all that kind of good stuff. And, it's really funny that, we often ask for feedback from viewers, and sometimes those things happen. And I just want to say that, Eric, I'm going to move my mic stand around whenever I damn well feel like it, bro.
Welcome to Hotfix, the weekly podcast that dives into the fascinating world of streaming, gaming, and esports. With your hosts, Brant Vladichuk and Jeremy Kelly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hotfix podcast episode number 27. As we said in the intro, we had kind of noticed that over the past few months, things have been very different in the gaming world. The past couple years have been very dominated by things like PUBG, Fortnite, Call of Duty, whatever, the World of Warcraft, these kind of things, which are big products, very large scale games. I'm not going to move it. Don't worry about it.
You're fondling that mic real hard.
But they're games that are built on, by big developers, big engines, a lot of things going on. I mean, like even Fortnite, while it may not be graphically intensive, I mean, I guess if you turn it up to like its max thing, like it does the 4K ray tracing, the whole fucking thing, right?
But still, it's still a simple game.
Yes, it is a simple game. There's no doubt. But over the past couple of months, there's been things like I just did it just then. There's been a lot of hype and popularity and a lot of people playing and big streamers and all this kind of stuff about Fall Guys and Among Us, which at face value are the most simplistic base level games you could possibly even conceive. Maybe Among Us even more so than something like Fall Guys. But we wanted to have a bit of a conversation as to, games over the past couple of years have tried and given out ads and paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to big streamers and all these kind of people to promote their games and ads and all this, everything you could possibly imagine to try to make their game the next big thing. And it doesn't work, and it fails over and over and over and over again. And then out of fucking nowhere, something like Fall Guys comes around, and it's just like it's made by like the small team at Mediatonic, who like they're an indie developer in its utmost form. Like they're a small,
and like
we
went through their like past games, and they seem to be one of these developers that make like these one-off mobile games.
Yeah, just like little offshoot games that like there's zero expectation. They're the budget is probably fairly limited. Team is very
like
small.
$8 or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's a passion project is what it is. But they haven't done a whole lot of things, and then they make something like Fall Guys, which again, if Fall Guys never got big, you would see it and be like, oh, it's Takashi's Castle, it's MXC or whatever. It's Japanese game show thing, right? It's that kind of idea, and she's like, that looks fun, but like, Like, I'll probably never play it because I never heard of it. And it has 82 mixed reviews on Steam, like most of these indie games have. And it's just whatever. But then for some reason, and this is what we want to talk about, it went to the fucking stratosphere, man. It just exploded.
To the moon and back.
Yeah, it
like
got
4 times.
so big in no time. And, all credit to someone like their social media person who's seen that there was traffic towards the game and just
did it so well. Like we've talked about companies in the past doing PR bad when it explodes.
Yeah.
we won't dive any deeper into that. And then like this is a masterclass in when you have an explosion in popularity and how to do PR right.
If anyone listening uses Twitter, make sure you follow the Fall Guys channel and just watch what the person or people that run that Twitter does, because it's like you said, it's an absolute masterclass in social media.
Yeah.
It truly, truly, truly is. So they blew up kind of out of nowhere. We're not going to claim to be the be all end all of all things happening on Twitch. So who kicked it off? I don't fucking know. I don't really care, to be honest. Like it doesn't matter. That's not the point. Someone kicked it off and had the idea to stream this game or to play this game and played it to the right audience or had the right people on their team or showed it to the right people, whatever it may be, and tweeted about it and these kind of things, which really, really just started this snowball on a hill effect kind of thing. And it just went from nothing to everything in what seemed like overnight.
It
like
really
if you're the development team, you go home for the weekend, you come back, and now all of a sudden the Mediatonic is worth 50 times what it was before you went away for the weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I never saw a single ad for the game. I saw nothing. I only knew about the game is because like the streamers I follow were playing it all of a sudden. I was like, what is
there
this?
was a point in time, other than the streamers I follow that like specifically only play one game, like they only play PUBG or they only play Fortnite, they only play WoW, something like that. Other than that, everyone was playing Fall Guys at one point in time.
Yeah.
And it was mental. It was like I obviously you guys listening know that this is like that whole Tim the Tatman thing that happened. He had like
that was such an iconic, even though it's such a simple game, it's such an iconic gaming moment.
Like 400,000 or 500,000 viewers organically too. Like that's the thing. It's like that's the thing we talked about. It was like that Tim the Tatman thing. It was like it wasn't because he did something sketchy or he got banned and this was his return or he just signed a big deal and this was like his announcement stream. It was just like him streaming every day like he does every other day. And because of the social media machine, he had like 400,000 or 500,000 viewers.
Yeah, and just for like some like backstory is like he didn't have a win.
Right.
He couldn't get a win.
Yeah.
And then the Fall Guys Twitter, like it just turned into this whole story of how like Tim could not get a win, and then it snowballed into this thing where like there's so many people watching him that like now viewers were now griefing him in game. So he could not get into a single fucking game without people like he'd get into a game and like 4 people would turn on him and grab him, and like it got to the point where it's like okay, minimize like you could like loading in, you couldn't see it. He would change the character skin completely. And he wouldn't turn it back on stream until he was in game. Yeah. And still, like 4 or 5 people would catch on instantly and grief him. It was absolutely fucking hilarious.
It was amazing. And see, it turned into, for my friends who watch Twitch or watch YouTube actively or are into gaming or anything like that, like it turned into one of those where were you when?
Yeah.
Like if like I'm a sports fan and like in my amongst my like hockey friends, people think of Sidney Crosby's golden goal at the Olympics, right, in Vancouver, and they won the gold medal and that whole thing. And that's one of those. Where were you when Crosby scored the golden goal? It's
or
one
the
of those,
or the Kawhi shot last season.
Exactly.
From the like that.
It's one of those things. I think I was back home in Newfoundland and when do you remember when the Tragically Hip had their last show?
That was a moment,
right?
That's
another. I mean, this is super Canadian talk right now. But like people were having backyard barbecues and big parties for this. Everyone knew it was the last show Gord Downey was ever going to play before he died. Like everyone knew that was the thing, and it's one of those. Where were you when that happened? And for this,
if you weren't there, you weren't Canadian.
Exactly. Yeah. But for this Tim thing, it's like the streamers, like even like your Ninjas and your Dr. Lupos and your Shrouds and like these big streamers, their stream was just them watching Tim.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't where were you because you're Canadian. It was like if you're a Twitch viewer, you were watching that. And if you weren't, I don't know what you were doing. It was a moment in history. Like, it's not Tyler 1's return to Twitch after being banned from League of Legends for years. Like, it's that, which is like, again, an exciting moment, I suppose, but like, it's not the same thing. Like, this is an organic thing that just built out of nothing. And that's kind of where this conversation kind of comes from. It's like, where the hell did Fall Guys come from?
It's so amazing to like those moments are far and few between.
They really are.
And I just love like every single moment where it's just like the entire streaming community and gaming community and Twitch community is just like all eyes on this. Like the viewership was crazy. It was like, what was it? It peaked at over 300K.
I think it peaked at over 400K. I could definitely be wrong. Maybe my memory is wrong because we didn't look it up or nothing. But like, I think it was over 400.
I
could be wrong.
It was a lot.
Bro, if it was 100, it's still friggin' mental. That's so many people.
Yeah.
But it was definitely at least 300. I think it was over 400, but whatever. Somewhere between.
To my memory, I saw 350. If it was, I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 4.
Yeah, but even still, that's so many people. Like, that's
crazy.
almost the entire population of the province I'm from. Like, it's crazy how many people. So, like,
it's 10% of Canada.
Yes, exactly. It is a different conversation when you compare it to sports and that kind of thing. But like, just think of any time, like you can compare it to any event. Like you think of, if you look at, when Queen played Live Aid in the 80s, like for those people, I'm sure it's a where were you when? It's a when Kurt Cobain died. Where were you when you heard that Kurt Cobain died? It really is one of those things. It's on a smaller scale because Twitch streaming is still a fairly niche market. But it is, for our community of people, it was
a moment.
It was a big moment, and it really,
it's a moment,
really was.
Man.
Yeah,
moments
absolutely.
are the best,
and moments are very important as well, right? It's the reason why when Shroud came back to Twitch last month or whatever it was, why he gained 10,000 subs in his starting soon screen.
Yeah.
Like there is that anticipation. If you have the right content and the right brand and you can do things the right way, it becomes a spectacle and a thing for people to go see. And the combination of Tim the Tatman he was already in the top 10 biggest streamers.
He's already
anyway.
A big streamer.
So like that wouldn't happen to me, right? If I didn't get a win in Fall Guys, no one would give a fuck.
No,
right? Like that's so like there is that. Like,
that's already expected of you.
Yes, and listen, absolute smooth brain. It is expected of me, but there are things that went into that being successful. Fall Guys was the hottest shit at the time. Tim the Tatman was one of the top 10 biggest streamers as well. So them. And then they both had the same mindset. Like they both had like whoever runs Fall Guys social media and then whoever runs Tim's social media. I don't know if Tim actually does. He probably doesn't.
I highly doubt it.
But they both had the same idea without ever even talking to each other.
Yeah, because they were like, it was like on Twitter, it was live.
Exactly.
It was as live on Twitter as it was on Twitch.
So it's like both people knew that this is a thing that's going on. So let's make this happen. And every time we talk back and forth with each other, we're getting thousands and thousands of retweets.
Yeah.
And it's becoming a thing, right? So, good on them. But, back to the reason we're having this conversation. It's like, why does that happen in something like Fall Guys and not in something like Modern Warfare or PUBG or or WoW or what other games are in the top, Valorant or whatever it may be? Like, why? It's not because Tim the Tatman didn't win a game in Valorant. I mean, if Tim the Tatman didn't win a game in Valorant, people would just be like, whatever.
Be like, yeah, Valorant's hard.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. Yeah, it's just whatever. So I think what that leads the conversation to, as we're 20 minutes in, is like, there's something to a game just being fun. Like, take the graphics away, take the advancements of technology and the ray tracing and the 4K and the whatever you need, whatever the buzzword of the time is, the Twitch integration, right? Hashtag Hyperscape.
It's like you go back to Nintendo.
The point of video
Like-
games in the absolute first place is just like gameplay is king no matter what happens.
And that's what people in Nintendo always said with the old Mario games, with everything. It was like it has to be fun. If it isn't fun, then like who gives a shit? Like there's a lot of games that follow the exact same formula today. They look amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely technologically amazing games, but it's go here, do quest, come back.
Yep.
And then go there, do quest, come back. And then go over there, do another quest and come back. And then maybe we'll send you to the first place again to do a different quest at the same place and then come back.
Exactly. Yeah. It's go collect candles, but the second time go collect wolf pelts.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just
yeah.
And I've
not innovative.
I've said this many times on this podcast now. Many times. We've had 27 episodes.
Right.
But like, I don't play single player narrative games.
Right. Yeah.
Because for me, it's always the same formula.
Right. Yeah. No, I got you. There is like I play a lot of single game, like single player adventure games or whatever, and it's like I don't disagree with you because there is that, okay, I'm probably the hero. This is probably the bad guy. There's going to be a twist somewhere along the way. It's going to be kill this enemy, explore this thing, save this person, get revenge on the bad guy. That's like probably what 90% of.
And I just want to clarify, it's not a bad thing. It's
No,
a very
no,
personal choice. And that's why, like, for those games, I prefer watching a streamer. Like, I watched you do Red Dead.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going to go play Red Dead.
Right.
I will just not, I'm not going to have fun. I know I won't. But, like, I like watching movies. So if I want that, like, narrative experience and get a story, I'm going to watch it.
You'll watch a movie for 2.5 hours, whereas Red Dead was 75 hours for me to finish.
Yeah, but I'll watch. I watched a large majority
of course.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm fine doing that because I can chillax, I can do my work on the side, I can watch it. But for me personally, at the end of the day, a game has to like check that fun box.
100%. And that's, there were times when I was playing Red Dead, like I think of Red Dead because that was basically my summer 2020 when it comes to streaming was me playing Red Dead. That's basically all it was. And you know what? Like when we talk streaming, that's the best viewership I ever had. It's the highest sub count I ever had. Like it was really good as far as like all the metrics you would ever measure a small streamer. It was great, 100%. And I did enjoy the game, absolutely. But there were definitely times where I was just like, gee, like I don't care anymore. Like I don't want to go do this. Like chat could be like, go do this side quest for this person to do whatever. I'm like, bro, like I don't. How about can I just get to the next chapter? Like I don't, because I just don't care anymore. Like I've been doing this for like 50 hours. Like I'm done. It doesn't matter to me, dude. Just tell me what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Like there's a thing that happens, and I think it became very obvious because when I was doing the Red Dead thing, once the game ends, there's a prologue, right? Or an epilogue, sorry. But my channel, like the people who were there because I was playing Red Dead, sorry, were like, you have to go do this. You have to go to this area of the map. It's like, well, is there a quest that brings me there? And they're like, no, you just have to go there and like find the thing. I'm like, bro, I just don't care, man. And so the last couple of days,
you're gonna go there to do a fetch quest.
Exactly. So and it's probably something cool. Like Rockstar is like are the absolute kings of like throwing in little things that are just like super dope. Like apparently, like there's vampire in the game that I never seen, which is fucking rad as shit.
Jesus.
Like there's a bunch of apparently the Ku Klux Klan is in there, and you can burn them alive with a Molotov cocktail, which is amazing. But I never found them. So like there's things in the game, but Rockstar is known for like adding those things to games, which is great. And like I do wish I got to throw a Molotov cocktail at the Ku Klux Klan. Like that sounds brilliant. Like, yes, sign me up. But it got to the point where it was just like, once I was in the epilogue and I'm 70 hours in or whatever it may be, I was just like, I just want it to be over. Like, I just want the story to end. And there was people like even in the chat being like, you have to go do this. Like, I'm only here for you to do these things. Like the whole, I'm not coming back once this is done. And I'm like that sucks, dude. Like if anyone's a small streamer listening, if you can think about having 22, 23, 24 average viewers, it's like you're fucking owning. Like this is amazing. Mm. But at the same time, it was like at the end of Red Dead, I was like, I don't care anymore. Like it's not worth. I don't want to stream for 3 or 4 hours and have zero fun the entire time. Right, like in the last probably 2 weeks of me streaming that, I was like, I just need to get through it now. Like I'm this far in, I might as well finish, but it wasn't fun anymore. So this brings us back to just a game being like Red Dead is. I mean, the fucking testicles of the horse shrink when it's cold.
Like those games are incredible feats.
They're technological feats.
Like I don't want to like
friggin' 1000%.
I don't want people to think I think those games are bad. I think Red Dead is an amazing game. Mm-hmm. I think all these really good like single player narratives are really good, like God of War, Game of the Year or whatever.
It's amazing.
Like for me, it just doesn't like I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, like I grew up playing like party games.
Yeah. Mario Party, Halo,
Party.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Or like games like everybody knows I play a lot of Halo, but like those are fun for me. Like I like the arena shooters. I like how it's fast. You're always doing something. Mm-hmm. You die, you respawn, you go back. You die, you respawn, you go back. Mm-hmm. There's no downtime, there's no rating, there's no running 5 in-game kilometers to the next quest. Yeah. It's like it's always going.
Yeah, absolutely. It just no. I mean I get it, and that's the thing why like I get why people would rather watch a streamer play, because it's like you said, like you can have like if we're I don't know, you guys can't see it, but there's a monitor here, a second monitor here, and there's a laptop here. Like there's a whole setup in front of us right now, and you can have a Twitch stream up right here and still be doing the shit you need to do, but the audio from the Twitch stream is there, and if something exciting happens in your ear, you can look over and pay attention, and you can see the thing happen, and that's cool. And if there's downtime in whatever the thing is that you're doing, you can look over and watch it for 5 minutes, and it's the best. I don't know if we may have said this. I don't know if we ever said this in an episode, but if we did, it was one of the very, very early episodes where someone described Twitch to me as interactive background noise.
That is,
and it's 100%. The best description 100%. Of Twitch I've ever heard in my life. You're not there like just like absolutely glued to the screen.
I'm sure some people are like.
I mean, someone is
over invested in the streamer.
Yes, but it's something that's there, and you're half paying attention, but not really. You're not hanging on every word by any stretch of the imagination, and it's just there while you're doing something else. Like I put Twitch on when I'm going to have a nap in the afternoon.
Yeah, same.
Like right, just throw on. Like shout out Choco Taco for being like a super chill person that just has a fairly monotone voice that doesn't scream. And so I can just throw that on and I know I'm good. And you just lay back and like hopefully the PUBG noises don't get too loud. Like you're right. It's just like that kind of thing.
I always have I either have a movie going or Twitch going while I'm working.
It's just a very simple. It's interactive background noise, and it's the best description ever.
Yeah.
But yes, sorry. So back to again the whole reason why something like a Fall Guys got popular is it doesn't matter. That was like a very long-winded conversation as to why, if you strip all the fancy shit away, if at its core the gameplay isn't fun, you're not going to retain anybody.
No. Not at all.
It just doesn't matter. I think back to there's this game called The Order 1886, which was this like steampunk style game that took place in like obviously like in the 1800s, but it had to do with like it was like a steampunk mixed with like vampires and werewolves and this kind of thing. And I remember this game being teased, and it looked phenomenal. It was like the best looking game of the generation. It was madness. Like this game looked, at the time, like photorealistic. Like this is the best looking game I've ever seen in my life. Then the game came out and it was cutscenes and QuickTime events and ultra linear gameplay, and the game absolutely flopped. And it was like, graphics and latest technologies and pushing the envelope as far as what a player can experience while going through a narrative thing only goes so far.
Yeah.
If the base game, it's a house built on rocky foundation.
Like, you have to get the gameplay loop.
You do. It's like
solid.
That's why Destiny is so popular. Like, Destiny is so popular because the gameplay loop is fun. Like, has Destiny made missteps? 1,000% they have. Are they at the forefront of gaming technology and player experiences? No. Definitely not. But the gameplay loop, the looter shooter, if you want to use that term, is in its current state perfected in Destiny 2. Right? It's that 100%. The idea of going here and doing your strikes and doing your raids and your quests and your dailies and your weeklies and your chance to find new loot. Like, that gameplay loop is just fun, and the running and shooting and movement and gameplay is just a fun experience. Yeah. Therefore, Destiny thrives and has had a chance to come back from the brink. It's same with Rainbow Six Siege, right? It's that idea too. Like Rainbow Six Siege was at the brink of failure. Absolutely.
And then they turned, and now it's like an amazing game.
Amazing.
And a super good esport.
Yep.
And like they have another 5-year plan for it. Like, it's crazy.
They had a strong foundation and made major missteps early on, and then realized they made those missteps, but then because their foundation was so strong, they could restructure, and they've made an incredibly successful franchise out of it. It's impressive. It truly is.
Like, I have a ton of hours. I have more hours in Siege than I do Halo 5.
That's actually amazing. I didn't know that.
It's the first time that's come out of the podcast, but like, I have a lot of time in Siege. I took a very long break because my squad also took a break. But like, literally last week, we're getting back into it. So like, I'm getting back.
I've been wanting to get back into Siege too. Actually, I've had some of my viewers and stuff being like, "Bro, you should try Siege again. Like, it's really good." So
and I had this is actually kind of cool because I have some really like OG. What are the things? Attachments for your guns?
Yeah. Like
like diamond, like season 1 and 2 diamond attachments for my guns.
Yeah.
And I was playing with like a new guy, and he's like, "Dude, what attachment?" I was like, "Oh, that's a season 1 fucking diamond attachment." He's like, "Dude, bro, do you know you could sell your account for like $1,000 with that?" And I was like, "Dude, I was like, no, I'm not going to, because my account's like fucking like 8 years old at this point."
Of course.
Like, that's kind of. I never realized that, like, like, there's people joining, like, recently.
Yeah.
And there's people still joining, like, Rainbow Six Siege. It's an old game.
Yeah. It's
like they have
4 or 5 years old, probably.
And they have another 5-year plan for it.
It's crazy.
Like, crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But, like, it's such a fun, competitive game.
And that's
fun.
the thing.
It's an absolutely fucking fun game.
The game plays really well. The characters move, the way the character movement, the map design, the ease of act. Like, it's a game that's easy to play. It's easy to play, hard to master. It's one of those things, right?
It's completely original. Like, when my buddy was telling me, he's like, "Oh, you like it's 5v5. One team defends, one team attacks. When you're attacking, you drone the place. When you're defending, you fortify it." And I was like,
"What?"
I could not picture in my brain what that meant until I started playing it, and I was like, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree 100%. So that's what we mean by, like, you know, there's if the foundation of the game is strong, the potential for it to be successful is high. So then the conversation should lead to, okay, why Fall Guys? Like, there's probably 1,000 games out there that are, you know, programmed well, and they control really easily, and they have the ease of access, the barrier of entry is very low. These kind of things. But why Fall Guys? Like that's I guess
I think there's an element of luck.
There
like
is an element
they
of luck,
hit
for sure,
the
yeah.
nail, like the hammer to the
like
nail.
it's cute.
Like it's cute. It's and I don't think we've said this yet, but like in this entire podcast, but like it's pretty fun.
It's yeah. Yeah. The game is extremely fun, and I think there's something about, you know, if you guys have played Fall Guys, it's jump, dive, move, and grab.
Yeah.
That's it. There's 4 buttons. That's all you need to know. So you're like, your mom could pick it up and learn it in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So there's something about being so simple that you're accessible to everybody.
It's another like easy to learn, hard to master.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it's, you know what it is it's why the Nintendo Wii got so successful, right?
Everybody wants to play with their Wii.
Everyone wants to play the Wii, but everyone wants, like, if you're doing bowling on Nintendo Wii, if you guys remember back when Wii was popular, it's like, here, hold this, go, and then pretend to bowl, and it'll happen, and it works in real time, fairly accurately, and it's like, oh, okay, I understand how that works.
Yeah.
So you can get the tennis and the bowling down, and that's why the Wii is one of the best-selling consoles of all time. Like, it's simple and accessible to everybody. And Fall Guys, if someone's never played a video game ever in their life, Fall Guys is understandable in seconds. Minutes, I suppose.
You don't have to know the game at all. Someone's gonna hand you a controller and be like, play.
It's like all you have to do is it's up on the joystick. A is jump.
Yeah.
And really, that's all you need to know to really get going. Like the grab, I don't know if there's anything where the grab is absolutely. There's like one game where the grab is something that has to happen, but that's it. Not even. I don't think that map is even possible until like the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
And by the 3rd or 4th round, you understand how Fall Guys works.
Exactly. So I guess that whole mechanic is introduced once you know how to play the game. Anyways.
Absolutely. So it's simple design that works really, really well, and it's just fun. Like, will you get bored of Fall Guys after 100 hours? Like, probably. If they and that falls on the developers of adding new content and making sure there's something new to strive for, and that's for the hardcore players. But for people, you know, for you to link up with your friends from college who you don't see anymore, or your brother or sister or your family, and just do something. It's
like your buddies that you used to play Mario Party with in the same room on a split screen with screens this big because you're all on split screen.
Exactly. But now
you can actually do it.
Exactly. 100%.
Like party games, party games were huge when I was younger. Like we only ever played party games.
Yep.
And they don't exist anymore.
No. Well, couch co-op is just like a thing. It's I almost did it. I almost grabbed the mic. It's almost a thing of the past. Like some games still come out like with couch co-op in mind, which is great. Like that's super, super fun. But it's a very niche market as opposed to it's the exception as opposed to the rule, which is what it used to be. If you think of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and Mario Party and those kind of things, right?
Nobody gives a shit anymore.
No.
So like I think both them like Among Us and Fall Guys are getting friggin' huge is because we miss party games.
I think that's what it is. It's simplicity and it's fun, and that at the end of the day, being fun is all that matters. So if you have a game that's very, very fun and then you add simplicity to it, that's a recipe for success. And then, like you said, there is an element of luck. Like, did whoever the big streamer was that happened to stream Fall Guys first and then tweet about how fun it was, like there's an element of luck to that, I suppose, because I'm sure there's probably 50 other games on Steam or whatever that could have been picked up that are also simplistic and fun and have that cute look. Like I'm sure there's other games, and there's probably some developer that looks at Fall Guys and is like, hey, why not us? Like I'm sure that's a thing.
Could have been the luck of being picked up by Devolver.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because absolutely, that's very, very true. That's true.
Because pretty well-known publisher.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the very, very valid point. And maybe, yeah, and you know what? Maybe there's credit to someone at the Mediatonic team for their PR team that reached out to the right publisher.
Or vice versa.
Or
maybe
vice versa.
some random person Devolver is like,
100%.
This game is going to make us $1 billion.
This is the move. And then
it's like signing a band.
I mean, but it is. I mean, being a publisher, I feel would be very similar to.
They're just like the record labels of games.
Yeah. No, I mean, they literally are.
Record labels.
That is literally what they are.
Yeah, they're like this game. Yes. Let's sign this game for a record deal.
Let's front them some money to make their game and make it the best they can, and we kind of also have control, but we'll also make sure it gets to as many people as possible. That's like they literally are record labels. So the Fall Guys success, I think, is what led to the Among Us success. Like Among Us is currently, as of this episode going live, Among Us is by far the biggest game.
Yeah,
on Twitch,
we checked it before we went live today, and it was number one, 300,000 viewers.
Very, very large, and like one can't help but notice the similarities between the character design of Among Us and Fall Guys. But I think what happened was Fall Guys highlighted how much the community was wanting for something cute and simple and easy to play with everybody, and then you can get your girlfriend or your wife involved, or your friend who doesn't really play games very much anymore. They can get in for a game or two if they have a half hour in the evening after the kids have gone to bed. Like there's that kind of thing. I think Fall Guys, I mean, Fall Guys isn't dead. Like Fall Guys is still extremely, extremely popular. Like I don't want to, like, this isn't maybe the best analogy, but it's one of those Fall Guys walked so Among Us could run. It's one of those things, right? Among Us came out in 2018, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like we looked at the website, like
their team is 3 people.
It's 3 people, and they started off as like a Newgrounds game developer.
Yeah, they used to do things on Newgrounds.
And it looks like a Newgrounds game.
100%. But back to what we spoke about, it's like Among Us is the same thing where it's simplistic. The idea is like in a 30-second conversation, you can tell someone who's never played the game before how it works.
Yeah.
You're either going to be a crewmate or you're going to be an imposter. If you're a crewmate, you have to do tasks. If you're an imposter, your job is to kill the crewmates without being caught. If you're the crewmate, you have to figure out who the imposter is. Good luck, everybody. Starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
It's a digital board game.
But you know what? That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a board game, and done I
don't say that in a bad way.
No, of course.
Some of the best, funnest gaming moments in my life is like getting people over for board game night.
Of course, yes, absolutely.
And you throw that on the web.
Yeah.
You get a bunch of people. Like there's no better recipe for success.
So it's the same type of idea where Among Us was, the barrier of entry is very low, but it works well. The servers have some issues, which is fine.
Now that I know there's 3 people supporting a game with 300,000 Twitch viewers, I can't, like, they're like, they're in panic mode a little bit. I would imagine they're 100% in panic mode.
Of course they are.
I don't think they, like, because they started 2 years ago. They did not expect to go from, like, I don't know, sub 1,000 players to tens of thousands.
Well, someone had stopped into my channel and said the month before Among Us got big, there was like 28 active users on like one day. Like,
so they had like a server run, like literally one small server running for the last 2 years, and then all of us.
And then it goes.
So they got to be like, considering they're charging like $5 for the game, and how much bandwidth and server costs. Oh, okay. I kind of feel a little bad about them. Like they gotta start charging some subscription costs with these amount of numbers.
Well, they have a bunch of skins in there, which I'm sure people have.
They need more monetization because the
Absolutely.
server cost with this amount of players now,
would be crazy.
with $5 for the game,
Yeah.
like they're
It's a lot.
not stoked.
No, I know. Probably I'm sure
They went from very not stoked to panic mode to like, okay, monetize to okay, deplete our bank accounts because the server costs and the bandwidth is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
To now we're going to make
Yeah.
bank.
Well, apparently
So-
one of the devs said they've upgraded their servers twice already, and like over the summer, like over the past couple of months.
Well, like if they went overnight from 28 players to 28,000 players,
Yep.
Jesus.
It's crazy.
I've been in that predicament as like a website developer,
Right, yeah,
where it's been like the day before is 0, and it's like even it doesn't matter how much auto scaling you have. Sometimes it's just like auto like panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, holy shit, the database is down, the cache is down.
Yeah.
The load balancer can't even handle this anymore. Like you're like,
I think we're gonna explode.
why did this happen?
Absolutely, it's crazy. I can't imagine what like sin for those 3 people that are just like at the Inner Sloth company there. I mean, Jesus Christ.
It's a blessing and a curse.
It absolutely is. But you know what? I think, like I was saying, I think Fall Guys really highlighted the want for, like, everyone is trying so hard. Like, that's what, in my opinion, that's what ruined Fortnite. It's like people started trying too fucking hard. Right? Like, then you get, like, these, like, you would shoot someone in like season 1 and 2, it was like, okay, you would shoot, and they would build that little 4 wall and the 1 ramp, and they try to fight you over that. And, like, maybe an extra wall and a little thing, and it was, like, fine. But then it turned into, you shoot someone once, and it's like, and they had the Amazon warehouse in 10 seconds.
100%. Like,
All right? And it's just
like
like, it's
Gabby
like,
and I have been playing. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite with Gabby. Like
Yeah,
even the
yeah.
other day, we played till 5 a.m. Like I still want to say like it's fun.
yes, of course it's
But-
fun, but
So, but it gets really like the building mechanic really does kill it.
Yeah.
In a way because it is so dependent on that building mechanic.
well, it's built like building is more important than shooting.
Yeah. And so when I get into like, I don't want to be a dick, but like my dexterity with a controller or like shooting is generally better than most people.
Right.
And when playing Fortnite, I outshoot probably 95% of people I come
Right.
into.
Yeah.
And I lose when it's just like someone builds a fucking fortress.
Yes,
And
yeah.
like I'm like struggling.
I
with-
don't understand.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I built a ramp. Like
yeah,
sick.
Yeah. Great. Let's go.
But like the shooting mechanic is, I lost my train of thought. It's still fun, but like, it's hard, man. The building mechanic ruins it.
I
but
think,
like,
but that's what I was like kind of getting to as well. It's like Fortnite, the base idea, like again, the foundation for Fortnite was very, very strong, but because the ceiling for Fortnite is so high.
yeah,
right?
if you're a really
That's-
good
that's- I think
shooter
that's the
and a
thing.
really good builder, like you're gonna go.
But that's the
Like,
thing.
it's
Whereas, like in
yours.
Fall Guys, this or Among Us, it's like this. In Among Us, the ceiling is only so high as how good are you at lying to the people you're talking to. And in Fall Guys, it's like it's only so good as like map knowledge and reaction speed and understanding paths. Like there's it's a stagnant map. Like again,
Yeah.
you can only do so much, and it's the same with Fall Guys and Among Us. Like there's only so much you can do. There's a finite amount of perfection you can get in both of those games. Whereas in Fortnite, it's like you can build for friggin' ever. And there's always like there's videos of people who are like doing things on their keyboard or on their controller that it's just like my hands can't move that fast.
Yeah.
To even be a thing. So that kind of you Fortnite again, in my opinion, I don't play it. I haven't played it for years, and I don't enjoy it. I don't watch it. I don't think it's a good thing. But somewhere along the way, it seems like they lost the plot. Or
100%.
Or it just got too out of hand. That it was just like because you can't the idea of Fortnite is you shouldn't be able to restrict players, which is fine, but the not restricting players got too crazy because the game got too big and there was too much money at stake.
And that's the thing about like, I do think it's a fun game.
Yes,
I have a lot of
course.
fun with it.
Yes, of course.
But it is, I get made fun of from Gabby and the guys that we play with. I made the offhand comment a while ago. I was like, this game is too easy. Mm-hmm. Because, A, it's a hit scan.
It is, yep.
So, like, I come from a Halo background, playing a BR that's hit scan. I shred a lot of people that are far away.
Right, yeah.
It's just what happens. Like, it's not that, like, the building, like, if you are someone who wants to get good at shooting games, mm-hmm. you're not going to get good at shooting games if all you're doing is playing Fortnite.
No, of course. Yeah, if you're not playing a projectile-based shooter, then you're not going to get good at shooting games. There's no doubt about that, right? Like, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like if you play whatever your favorite game is, if you play a hit-scanned shooter, it's hit scan is definitely maybe not the best term, but it's easy mode for shooters, as opposed to projectile based. Like that's part of the reason why I think PUBG has remained relatively popular despite being run by the worst devs maybe of all time. The gunplay and the projectile shooting and the feeling of getting a kill on someone, knowing that you had to lead this person by 50 meters because they're running right and they're 200 meters away and you have to do the calculations in seconds and then you shoot it and you hit it. It's like, I'm actually God.
But like, I also don't want to say that hit scan is bad. Hit scan in arena shooters is, I think, good. Hit scan in BRs is bad.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. Because arena shooters are quick, right? There's a lot.
I do believe in like an arena shooter like Halo or my brain is smooth brain right now. The other ones.
Quake.
I think it does come down to who has the better reaction time and who has the accuracy in the snap. Right. That is an arena shooter. Mm-hmm. But when I'm playing Fortnite and I see someone 300 meters away and I pull out my green pistol and I stand still and go boom, 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 downed, boom, teammate, downed, third teammate, team wipe, and like that. Like
it's like that's.
I've
really
done that so many times, and that's why like I've made that offhand comment. I was like, "Where the game is easy."
That shouldn't even be a thing.
But if any of those players in that previous scenario were good builders, they would have made a fucking Fort Knox.
Yeah, right. And
they would have turned into a fight.
It's like, I guess, yeah.
No, I don't know where we're going with the fucking Fortnite.
No, I mean it's just talking. It's just talking about the idea is talking about how Fortnite is built on a strong foundation, like we talked about Fall Guys and Among Us. But the idea with Fortnite is that the ceiling in Fortnite is so high that eventually the tryhards, it gets out of control. Whereas in Fall Guys and Among Us, it's a very finite amount of things you can do. Like in Fall Guys, there's only X amount of ways to run through any of those obstacle courses. Mm-hmm. And once you find whatever, and they're ever changing. So if you know the potential best 3 ways to run through an obstacle course, you just had to choose one of those 3 ways, and you know that, and you can't get any better than that, other than your ability to judge timings and that kind of stuff. But with Fortnite, like you've seen matches that in the final circle that can go on for fucking half hour.
Yeah, and it's
right, and they never end. And it's just like, all right, like wait for someone to mess up, I guess. Like I don't know. And that's just kind of the thing. And I think the whole point of this podcast, just in general, is that foundation has to be really strong, but the ceiling also has to be fairly low. I think that's what you're seeing with Fall Guys and Among Us, is because when you have a strong foundation, again, it's the barrier of entry is very, very low. If the ceiling is too high, like you're going to get, for example, I'll get like my girlfriend in to play a game of Fortnite now, never played it before in her life, and you're going to run into some nutcase where she's like, I hit him once, and it's just like, and they just built the world, and it's like, well, that's stupid. I don't know how to do anything.
It's so hard to counter.
Well, it just becomes frustrating. It's just like that's stupid, and then it happens 4 or 5 times. You're like, I don't want to play this anymore. Like I'm not good enough. And the idea of I'm not good enough to play this is what would turn a lot of casual gamers away from whatever the game may be. But something like Fall Guys, it's like you'd have to be ultra smooth brain to not understand how Fall Guys works.
You just offended a bunch of people.
I mean, and that's fine. Whatever. Dude, you get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
It's a race. Get to the end. It's very simple to understand, and the same with Among Us.
And there's also no downtime, which is important.
Absolutely. It's just like, you can't have the ceiling. For these games to get this big, the only way the games get this big is if they're accessible to a broader audience that wants something like a Modern Warfare or a World of Warcraft or whatever it may be is accessible to.
Yeah.
And Among Us and Fall Guys are both accessible to a gigantic audience of people, even the people who don't play video games and just want to have a chat with their friends and hang out for the night online, especially while the plague is happening. But if you have this ceiling too high, once the game is a couple months old, then people are going to be too good, but then it's not going to be fun anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It's like me jumping on League of Legends as a gold player and playing against people who are in fucking Challenger and are signed to fucking TSM. And it's like, well, this is like, why are we talking about? Like, like I'm an idiot compared to these guys who are just like full fucking six head. Like,
it's always fun. It doesn't matter if you're the best or the worst.
Exactly.
You're going to have fun.
And that's another thing. One last thing real quick is like, that's the other thing too, is that like bugs are not a major thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, we live within these very, very constrained rules. Like there's the game only works within this box. And if there's major bug issues and it's like, well, I did the thing you're supposed to do, but there was still a bug that caused X, Y, or Z to happen, then that's going to stop people from playing as well. But that's the thing about these games being so small. Like, I think Among Us is like less than a gig.
I mean, it would probably run on a Game Boy.
Like, actually, like maybe you might need a Game Boy Advance.
And you're playing these on our modern PCs. I almost said Fallout Boys.
Fallout Boys.
The Fall
Guys.
Yeah. That could have existed 15 years ago.
Absolutely,
it could have ran on an Xbox 360.
100%. And the thing is that it's restricted to a small box, and you can only do a finite amount of things, and that small box is just tuned very well to allow for the game to work within those confines.
Yeah.
And that's that whole thing, the small barrier of entry, the low skill ceiling, the small amount of bugs, nothing game breaking, and it's multiplayer, and you can play it with your friends, and everyone can get together. It's cheap to get into.
Yeah.
That whole thing is just a recipe for success. You add a little sprinkle of luck, then all of a sudden you have Fall Guys or Among Us, and I think it's just an absolutely brilliant thing. And I do hope that people realize that like it's not about being photorealistic. Like, photorealistic is great, and I want games to look as best as they possibly can.
Absolutely.
But I don't want them to look as best as they possibly can without them being fun.
At the end of the day, the game just has to be fun. That's it. That's
all
the whole fucking point of this whole podcast.
At the end,
make fun games.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the game just has to be fun. And at the end of the day, this has been episode number 27 of the Hotfix podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you guys tuning in. That was maybe my best segue of all time. Hope we do post every single Monday if you guys are watching this on YouTube.
And this is the last episode in this apartment.
Oh my God, it is. That's the thing. Brent is moving, and next episode is going to be in a different place. So,
for you YouTube watchers, the desk in the darkness back there is we're usually facing this way. We're facing the opposite way today. It's
great.
So relevant to the podcast.
It truly is. It really, really is. But yes, for the video watchers, our next episode will be in a different location. So this is where is where the podcast started, and it is the last episode in this studio, which, I mean, blessings all around, right? But yeah, if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure that you guys consider liking or subscribing. If you guys did enjoy it, if you're listening to the audio feeds, then consider liking the channel. We do appreciate it, and trust me when I say this, that it means way, way more than you could possibly think. That little tiny click goes a very long way for small channels to hit the almighty algorithm, which...
and a comment goes even farther. Unless it's I mean... I hate comment, but we like those as well.
Yeah, Eric.
It's still... That wasn't a comment. That was a text. Eric, we love you. Please give us all the feedback.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye, studio. I love you. Bye.
Bye.